anyone who wishes to speak? If there's no one who wishes to speak,
I do.
Sorry, man.
I'm Maria Wisser. I don't live in Cooper, but most of my life has been spent at Wisser Service, which I am one of. And I own the place. My son runs the place. He'd be here with Jill, but he's on vacation and well-deserved this week. I'm here to represent my son and Rick, and I have spent over 50 years, close to 60 years in Cooper Township. My husband's life, my son's life, they've spent more time there than they have at our house. Everybody that knows anything about Rick or Dick would know that. I live at 7844 East D Avenue in Richland, but the station is my second home. The only reason I'm here is because I care about the people. My whole family cares about the people in the neighborhood. Some of you already know me or my kids. My older boy works at Pfizer, but he worked at the shop most of his younger years. We love the neighborhood. It's nice and quiet. The building we have was there before most of you were born. That's just the way it is. There weren't as many houses. There's new plats around now. We don't need another liquor store. We need more houses for families. I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you very much.
Any other comments?
Can I add something to that?
Okay.
Again, my name is Doug Harder. I live at 5200 Amarillo. One thing I forgot to even mention is the people that Mr. Bath, that is trying to purchase the property, has already been cited for selling to a minor twice in a sting operation. So I believe he lost his liquor license, but I'm not sure. I did read the court documents about it. And another thing is they own the store right in back of here. You've seen that. Do you think that kind of store should be in our neighborhood? In the front, that's our gateway to our neighborhood. And you see how they keep up that store. What would be any difference? What difference would it be if that's in front of our neighborhood like that? I don't want that in front of our neighborhood.
I don't either.
So that's all I had to put in.
Good.
Thank you.
Would the applicant like to disclose? Any more comments?
Dan Works, 1510 East D. I'm trying to take notes. And it kind of goes in line with what Mr. Rodriguez said, and that took a lot of guts, man, being the first person to go against the grain. But I just got to hear about this stuff about a week ago. I was completely oblivious to it. I used to be really involved in a lot of things. I've helped a lot of people in the community, and I just got overwhelmed and had to deal with my own problems. I stepped away, but today I'm here because I went on the Facebook page, Cooper Informed Citizens, kind of looked at what was going on. I cannot believe the hate, the racism that was being said. Now I'm starting to wonder if this is because they're not Caucasian, American-born people.
Oh, fuck, crying out loud.
Right, 'cause you guys all seen it too, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
I've got screenshots of it. They've been deleted, but there was some hate, and these are people I've helped, you know, and it made me mad. So that really bugged me. But there's a couple things that I wanted to point out to you. Yeah, they've been there for 14 years. Okay.
Sir, you could direct that towards me.
Oh, sorry.
Not the audience.
I just want to make sure everybody can hear. I should have sat back there. They've been there for 14 years. Yeah, they bought this building that needed work. But since this gentleman here, who I've gotten to know within the last couple of days, mainly because I wanted to know more. So I did my own research, and I went to the source. I asked him questions. I wanted to know what was going on. He's gonna look for local builders. That's more employment, more jobs, at least temporarily. You know, they're gonna build. It's gonna be a brand new building, so it won't look like that. They're not gonna take that one and move it over to your community, you know? The traffic light issue or the stop sign issue, if there's a store right there, people are gonna have to be a little bit slower to pull in there, which is gonna slow
You're
other,
dreaming.
it's gonna slow other people down.
You're absolutely dreaming. Look at what happens at
I
Walmart.
watch them every day go through that.
I'll sell you my property right now.
You guys, please let him speak, let the man speak.
I'm just highlighting some of the things that were said and trying to give an open-minded opinion about what you're saying. Because I honestly, before I even finish it, the reason I'm doing this is because I actually pulled his liquor license report. This owner. There's no violations since 2022, since he's owned it. This is the man that wants to put the store there, not the, I don't know about another violation on another license. I looked at this one. So I've got it here in my hand if anybody wants to see it.
I got a court document, I can show you.
Maybe from the prior person.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I don't get charged for my father's crimes. You know,
Still have a criminal record.
No, let's have this, you guys, please, direct whatever you got
what
to
I
say to
wanna,
me.
I'm sorry. What I wanna say is, if they put this building there, they have the plans on having 2 extra occupants that could put these, they could use this to lease. They're thinking that maybe a doctor's office or a restaurant maybe, but I don't think it's gonna be anything that'd be crazy. And it's not just a liquor store, it is a convenience store. I'd like anybody here to say that they have never been into the party store or a party store to get something when everything else is closed. Milk, eggs, meat, bread, medicine, cups, plates. I mean, they got more than just liquor and alcohol. That's maybe 1/8% of a business that sells that stuff.
Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Well, we hit our 3 minutes.
oh, we did?
Yeah, and I know you got interrupted.
Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
I know that this property is zoned commercial C1. So I didn't know that this was in negotiation to have it reversed to residential. Is that the case?
Not at this time.
Okay. All right. I had a lot more to say, but. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if I used my 3 minutes, but I just have a question. If this is in consideration, has there been a traffic study on that corner at all? Is that a possibility to request that in consideration of this request?
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional comments?
I got something I want to say.
Sir.
Can you hold this, please, and point it at me? I'm Michael Vovicino. I live at 5070 Citadel Street. I represent the Flam clan, the Flam family. I've lived here for generations.
Sorry,
Mayor
Michael,
Brannigan.
Can you spell your name?
Bunvicino. I'm Clarence Flam's grandson. And what I gotta say is, a long time ago, there used to be the Jones family that I went to school with. Her brother was Jason, David passed on, and Katie. While bartenders was open over there, her and her friend wound up traveling to bartenders and then back to the Parchment Town Homes community, used to be known as another name. There was a drunk driver named Mike Erskine that wound up driving home drunk as a skunk. Katie and her friend got hit by Mike Erskine. I'm telling you right now, how many more little girls or boys that have access to alcohol is it gonna take before some people start listening up? Okay? It was a tragic experience because I had to see my friend's little sister get picked up on the gurney in the back of that ambulance, bleeding from head to toe like she came out of a Walking Dead episode. Okay? That's how bad she got hit. Her friend wasn't so lucky. Her friend got hit to the point where her own family could not even tell if it was their daughter or not. I guarantee you, you would be singing a different tune if it was one of your children that got hit by Mike Erskine that day. And it happened, I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen the news reports at that time period. He got arrested, and then he got, I believe he's out now. You wind up having that kind of establishment there. I'm telling you right now, coming from the big city back east in Brooklyn, New York, there's gonna not only be traffic up the wazoo, there's gonna be kids traveling at night, going in there to buy a candy bar, and then especially if it's football night, they're gonna wind up traveling to that area on a very busy street. And I can't tell you how many times I have seen people traveling down that strip, because I live right by Mr. and Mrs. Sexton's house. I live right next door to him. And then Mr. Van Middlesworth's house, he's my neighbor. I can't tell you how many times I hear going by like it's the Indianapolis 500.
That's true.
Race has nothing to do with it.
Right.
It has to do with safety, the safety of our future,
Yeah.
okay, and keeping our peace. Because if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago, there was a shooting that happened right over there. It was on Woods TV. How many more shootings, how many more lootings, how many more kids are going to wind up needing to get hit before you guys listen? It's not a good idea to have that kind of thing open. You want to have something like that open? Do the smart thing. Reopen bartenders, for crying out loud. It's closed. It was safe. There was no youth that got hit along that strip. Why not reopen that building? COVID's over.
Thank you, sir. You've been heard. Any additional comments?
Yeah, I got one. You got my name. Dave Groden, 5656 Shangri-La. I've lived there for 53 years. Okay. First of all, our police protection, with something like that going up there, it might take them an hour, hour and a half to get there. Okay? I've had wrecks. I live right on the curve going down the hill. I've had cars roll over. I've had motorcycle crashes. Sometimes the police get there right off the bat. There was one night a motorcycle crash. It was an hour 45 minutes before a cop even showed up. So what's that say for this here, with all the extra traffic and everything? And I asked the police officer when he got there, I said, what in the world took you so? Well, there's only two of us that take care of the whole area, Cooper Township and other one. He says, I was way out by Gull Lake. What? It don't make no sense, you know? And then with the trouble that you, just like this fella said right here, the trouble you can have with the cars, shootings, you don't know. Well, we have no police protection up there. I really don't know what the deal is with Cooper Township. I imagine you pay the sheriff's department to patrol our area, but we sure don't have many of them that patrol them. Mount Olivet is nothing but a drag strip. If I've called the sheriff's department once, I've called them 50 times since I've lived there. The speed limit's 30. If they go 50, they're going slow. Okay? And so that's all I got to say. So I think you gotta look at the whole big picture, you know, with the liquor store coming in and the police protection and how long it's gonna take them and all that stuff. Thank you.
My name's Anna Sinclair. I'm at 5187 Amarillo Street, very close to the lots that this is proposed at. I just want to second most of the comments that have been shared tonight. I think there's a lot of really valid points that have been brought up, but the three that stand out to me the most, the proximity to the high school. It's right across the street from a high school, and I think we've all understood what could happen with that proximity. I think the traffic at that intersection is already kind of out of control, and adding another one lane of in and out from that kind of facility is going to create chaos at that corner. I just don't think something like this, especially with the proximity to other options in the area, this is just not a need right now, not a need in the area, especially for something that's so residential. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen today, and I appreciate everyone showing up.
Becky Rustin again, just a real quick point. The family that owns 7-Eleven has been a part of the community for many years. They are an asset to the community. I understand that competition is important, but I don't see the need for something that is so close to be duplicated. And I would suggest that the owners of 7-Eleven have their own problems with shoplifting and people who bring their backpacks in when they're not supposed to, and loitering and drunk and disorderly. And again, the report that you guys provided was great, and there's actually information in it regarding how many vehicles go in and out of these businesses. They've actually done the work for you, but what wasn't in there is calls for service. I've been a part of the emergency medical services in Kalamazoo County for 38 years, and that information should be readily available. How many times has that address to 7-Eleven been visited by our local police departments because they need the help? And I would suggest that the people that live around 7-Eleven might end up feeling the same way, but they've been a part of the community. Whistler's has been, they might be commercial, but when I was a little kid, that was just down the street from the bus stop, and it was a Gulf gas station at that point, and we'd go get Bazooka bubble gum, and that was, it's a nice, quiet community neighborhood with problems, and this is just going to create more. And I thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Pat Parrish. I live at 5120 Amarillo, right across from Becky's daughter. And we just bought that property back in April or May, maybe March of last year. And one of the reasons we bought there is because it is such a quiet, safe, family-oriented community. And my wife and I watch our 2.5-year-old grandson quite frequently. Our daughter works at Bronson Hospital as a nurse, and this type of establishment is not something that, you know, we ever anticipated when we were looking at the communities in this area to move to. We moved from the Thumb area to be closer to our daughter and our grandkids. So that was one of the things that was, you know, very concerning to us, that we have a safe, family-oriented community. And I think this type of an establishment would really degrade the community as a whole. So thanks for listening to me.
other any other person who would like to speak? If not, I would hear a motion that we close our public hearing.
Motion. Second.
There's a motion made by Vern, supported by John. Is that correct?
Yep.
Then we close the public hearing. Discussion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are now out of public hearing. Would the applicant like to speak?
Yes. You can speak. We speak as for me. He have the information we have.
Can he talk into a mic, please?
All he's saying is that I'm gonna do the
He gonna
presentation.
do it for
Okay.
me. Yeah.
Sorry.
We proposed the purchase of 3 township properties that were put up for sale.
Can't hear.
We propose purchasing 3 properties that the township, as I understand it, has recently put up for sale. I think maybe there's 5 properties total. I don't know which ones were advertised, but you know, our client brought this idea to us. Our understanding is that it's zoned appropriately, at least at present. And the sale of liquor is the special exception use. If they weren't proposing the sale of liquor, as I understand it, then it would be permitted by right to put a convenience store that didn't sell alcohol. I think Julie's report has reasonably summarized our request. Right now, we're asking for approval of the special exception use before we go through a full-throated, engineered, designed site plan and a significant investment in surveying and engineering and architecture for the building. So, you know, as far as strict compliance with the ordinance, it was never our intention to be disrespectful to the community about due diligence. It was just a matter of risk management. Put something on paper that gives you an idea of the character of the thing that we want to put in, and you know, final design, we would comply with all of the township's ordinances. We're not seeking any variances other than obviously this special exception use. I also read some of the Facebook stuff. I don't have access to some of the pages that might be restricted. I didn't know where to look, but there were several ideas presented about how else this property could be used. And none of those, there's lots of good ideas, but nobody approached the township with a proposal. Nobody else is here with a proposal on what to buy, and I'm not sure if there were any other proposals to purchase the land that were submitted to the township. Ultimately, there's a purchase agreement in place that's contingent on site plan approval. This is kind of our first step in understanding whether or not what the business plan is going to work at this spot. I appreciate some of the assistance in rebutting arguments that we've heard tonight. I'm not an expert in criminality. I've managed to shop at liquor stores and not be a criminal, but I know there was within the staff report, there was a question about lighting or an issue with lighting. The township has a lighting ordinance. We would definitely make sure that we're in compliance with that. A lighting plan can be created that prevents any kind of spillage of light onto the neighboring residential properties, but still light the site, keep it safe. We would submit a lighting plan with our site plan that demonstrated that through photometrics. There was refuse, loading and unloading noise. I don't know what's different about the loading and unloading noise that this use versus anything else that might fit in a commercial zoning. I work next door to Louis. They get deliveries all the time. It's usually in the morning. That's when the deliveries happen. And it's never disrupted our ability to do work. Maybe it'd be more disruptive in this area. I don't know, but we did, at least the layout that you've seen accommodates a semi to pull all the way around inside the site without having to back out onto the street or anything. That will be, I'm sure, something that the road commission would require us to make sure that we find a way to accommodate deliveries without having trucks back out onto the road. Before we get final site plan approval, or maybe after site plan approval, but before we can start construction, we will need a road commission permit. They will review the traffic that might be generated by this site relative to the traffic that's on the road and give us any advice or require anything that might offset issues that the traffic generated by this use might cause. For the sake of anybody who's read the report, Julie's math said 200 trips per day, just so that everybody understands what a trip is. That's a technical term. That's anytime a vehicle crosses the threshold of a driveway. So each vehicle visiting the site would be 2 trips for the sake of that math. When you compare the traffic on the road to the traffic that the report suggests might be a reasonable estimate, we're talking about 4% of the traffic on the road. That doesn't necessarily mean that the busy time for this business overlaps with the busy time of the school, or that there's going to be problems during that time. I can't tell you off the top of my head when that problem might be. And I guess finally, the staff report said, I think the property's been owned by the township for 30 or 40 years, to which we can attribute its lack of development. And when it came up for sale, my client was interested. So we're interested in developing the property, and if the township finds this acceptable, then we appreciate your approval of the special exception use, and we'll come back with a complete site plan once we know that what we're proposing is acceptable. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
I'm sorry, no, we cannot.
All I wanted to say, if that was reselling for residential, it would have been sold a long time ago.
No, we violated doing that. Now.
Yeah,
now
in terms
no.
of his offer, they said there's no one willing to.
No, sir, we can't do that.
But he just asked the question that there is no offer.
The
So
public,
he's just answering that we have the offer.
we don't question these. If you have anything to say, you say it to me.
Okay.
These people
Okay,
don't
so we
deserve
just
to.
said-
Yeah,
yeah, that's
no
fine.
one, and that's here deserves to have a Q&A.
That's fine.
Now I'm gonna talk to my other fellow commissioners and get their opinion on what their feelings are about.
Can we just add one thing?
No, sir, you cannot. I'm sorry. I try not to quell anyone, but we have to continue with this meeting. We need to get something done tonight. All right, I'm gonna start with you, Dave. I'd like your opinion on what we're talking about.
The property in question has been available for.
Could you talk up, please? We can't hear
Sure.
you.
It's sorry. Anyway, the property in question has been owned by the township since 1982.
Still ain't working.
Hold it close.
I can't go any closer. So, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The property in question has been owned by the township since 1982, and in that time, no one has ever came forward to purchase this property to put anything on it. It is commercial, zone commercial, so different properties. I mean, businesses could have come and to use that property, and they never have. I don't believe that the property in question here is suitable for that area, and I think it would be more beneficial to the township and to the community if it was turned back to residential and the homes could be built.
Yes.
Chris, I'm gonna ask you your opinion. If you would like to inform the commission on your feelings.
I totally agree with what he just said. Everybody's pretty much, I've agreed with pretty much what everybody said here so far. And obviously, it's in my backyard too, so. Yeah.
Len? I'm gonna call him Jim last.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Len?
Same boat as Chris.
Vern?
Sure. So, everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for coming out, and really appreciate it, and our nice room too. Glad that you guys could all see this. I guess my thoughts are this, is that I appreciate small business. I think it's a backbone of our country, but I also look at it, and I think we have a charge to look at the businesses that are around your homes. There's churches, there's medical practices, there's schools, that type of thing. And you have to look at it, is there a community benefit? In other words, is there a need? When we know there's liquor stores in and around the area. And so I don't see that this is a good use for the property to have a special exemption, and so I will not be supporting this.
Hey, Corky?
I appreciate everybody coming tonight, and I feel the same way. I am not supporting this at all.
Jim, I'm gonna let you wrap things up.
Thank you, Alan. It was nice having the neighborhood here, kind of, as with Chris and Len. We live in that neighborhood also, and the property is zoned commercial. There's gotta be the right use for that somewhere out there. Township put it up for sale, hoping to help offset some of the cost of this remodeling and different things that are going on at the township. So it wasn't a need to as much as it was a, an idea. We don't use the property, we're never gonna have a fire department there, and so it came up to the board and we decided to put it up for sale. I've heard the neighborhood speak, and I'll go forward with that. Thanks, Alan.
All right, my fellow commissioners, at this point, do we hear a motion to approve or deny this request?
Deny.
Are you making the motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second it.
Okay, there is a motion made by Chris, supported by Corky, that we deny the applicant the request. Further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, Commission. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, as long as you're here, we're gonna go into another public hearing.
Not about this.
It may not be as exciting, but we are gonna talk about a few things. Do we hear a motion to go into public hearing for zoning ordinance amendments?
I can make that motion.
Okay, Jim made the motion, Len, are you supported it? I'll support. Okay, there's a motion made by Jim, supported by Len, that we open a public hearing. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you, Commissioner. Jim made it, and Len supported it. All right, Julie, I'm gonna pass it off to you on this one.
Okay. So before us this evening are amendments to 3 of the township zoning ordinances, definition section, off-street parking, and the cellular transmission tower ordinance. The off-street parking ordinance would be a repeal and replace, so we would take out the existing ordinance altogether and include the new ordinance that the Planning Commission has reviewed several times and has signed off for this public hearing. For the definition section, we're adding 2 definitions. A definition for usable floor area, which is how we make a determination on how many parking spaces are needed per business, and a definition for utility trailer, which is included in the parking ordinance. The final ordinance for review is to include the Cooper Business District, which is the district that we're in right now, to include that as a zoning district that would allow cellular transmission towers.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this topic? And if so, I would ask you once again, please, to stand, state your name and address for our records, and direct any comments or questions to myself. Thank you, my friends. Do we hear a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Is there such support? Support. Thank you, Dave. The motion made by Vern, supported by Dave, that we close the public hearing. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you, Commission. We are now at a public hearing. All right, my fellow commissioners, any questions to Julie about this?
this goes along with what we talked about in the last few months, right? Kind
Yes.
of cleaning up the parking and
Right.
things like that, okay.
Yep, so we worked on the general ordinance for vehicle storage, and then we updated the parking ordinance, so the two would work well together for our ordinance enforcement officer. And then, last week, we talked about adding, or last month, sorry, we talked about adding the Cooper Business District for cellular transmission towers.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
great.
So that we can get better cell service
Right.
here.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Pretty good, thank you.
yep.
Does anybody else have any questions for Julie concerning these ordinance change, or these amendment changes?
Which changes have
If the planning commission approves them tonight, then yes, they move on to the township board for 2 readings. Yeah.
Do we hear a motion to approve or deny? Recommend approval. Oh, stand corrected. Do we hear a motion to recommend approval or denial on this, on these amendment changes?
I would make a motion that we recommend approval to the township board.
Thank you, Jim.
Seconded.
Thank you, Corky. There's a motion made by Jim, supported by Corky, that we accept, or we recommend the amendment changes to the township board. Further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. All right, there is no old business, however, we must elect a chair and vice chair for 2024. Do I hear any nominations?
I nominate you. Alan Assemeyer for mayor pro tem.
Yeah, the current chair obviously is Al, and our vice chair is Len.
Right. Can we do them both at the same time?
You can, yeah,
Okay.
if they are willing.
Yep.
I would second that, they've done a great job.
Yep, I think.
Ellen, you run a good meeting, Len, you're always there for us. Are you there for us this time?
Oh, yeah.
I want to get in.
I think Court made it.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
did he?
Yep. There is a motion on the table, made by Corky, supported by Jim, if I'm not mistaken, that, I am chair of this board and Len is vice chair of this board. Further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Thank you, you guys. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, do my fellow commissioners have any comments they would like to share with this board? If not, do we hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Is there such support?
Support it.
Thank you, Chris. The motion made by Len, supported by Chris, that we adjourn to the meeting. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.